How's it going, everyone? My name is Don't Care My Name Is, and here we go with my review for the 30th anniversary of the British American dark fantasy kids film. Wait, hold on. Kids film? I mean, I saw it as a kid, but let me take a look. Let's see. It was based off a kid's book. Okay, it's Jim Henson's involved. Wait, Jim Henson? Jim Henson's company and himself was involved? Okay. Yeah, so to the 30th anniversary of the British American dark fantasy kids film, The Witches. So the film came out on August 24th, 1990, a little late, I know, and the film was based off the 1983 novel by Roald Dahl, and was later adapted by Alan Scott, who was the screenplay writer. The film was directed by the late Nicholas Roeg, R-O-E-G, while also the producers were Dusty Simons, the late Mark Chivas, and the late great Jim Henson. In fact, this was the last film he got to work on before his death on May 16th, the same year as the film came out. The film was produced by Lorimar Film Entertainment, and as I mentioned before, Jim Henson Productions. They had a hand in this film, while it was distributed by WarnerBros.Pictures. The film didn't do so well in the box office, but was praised by critics and had gained a cult following to the point that a remake was supposed to come out this year, but unfortunately due to the pandemic, they pushed it for 2021. Still, after 30 years later, I mean, that's a long time for this film. Does it still hold up? Is it still a good film? Will the remake be better, or do you think the film didn't age well like a fine wine? Well, let's get started and go over every bit of this film and see if it still holds up. The story of the film focuses on our main character, Luke, who lives with his grandmother after the death of his parents. Oh, by the way, yes, it doesn't have to be a Disney film for the parents to be killed off. And the grandmother tells her grandson about witches, how they are real, how they despise children, how you can spot a witch, and how her best friend, when she was a little girl, was taken by a witch. And the two of them go to a hotel for a vacation, unaware it's the location where the witches of England are all meeting. And it is there that Luke finds out that the witches have gathered together to meet with their leader, the Grand High Witch, and how she's planning to wipe out all of children of England by giving the witches a potion that will turn the kids into mice. So it's up to Luke and his grandmother to pretty much stop the witches before they go through with their plan and kill off every single children. So the first act of the story, I have to say, does a good job establishing to the audience about witches, how you're able to spot one, how to find out who's a witch and who's not, how dangerous they are, especially after Luke's first encounter with a witch, and how it hooks the audience in right away, especially when the grandmother's telling the story about what happened to her friend. The second act is where we see the witches gathering together, and we find out about their plan, and we even find out, in the first act, of course, that every country has their own witches, but they only have one leader, and that's the Grand High Witch, who travels around meeting with the witches to see how their progress is going on killing the kids. So I love the fact in the second act we see there's some sense of suspense, a very good suspense in the film, and we also see a lot of good tension moments. And we also see how well of a good job they did making the Grand High Witch look very dangerous, look very monstrous compared to the other witches. And then when we get to the third and final act, it does have a very satisfying conclusion, which is a lot different from the book. And I have to say, I did read the ending of the book, and looking at this, I'm actually kind of glad they went with this ending, because I don't think it would have given a very good happy ending if they had gone with that direction, but still, it's not bad. I like the story. It is predictable. If you've seen these sort of films and you know how things are going to go, and of course you know that the kid's going to turn into a mouse because you see the poster, and obviously that's what's going to happen. But I didn't mind this. I thought they did a good job with this, building up to it and showing how dangerous our villain is. I did wish, though, that they did explain why one of the characters who was a villain ended up being good at the end. They really didn't explain that very well. I also kind of wish we had a little bit more interaction between the grandmother and the Grand High Witch, because it's hinted that the Grand High Witch and the grandmother know each other. So I kind of wish we had a little bit more interaction with them, maybe even a conversation between the two a little bit more, but we don't really get much of the interaction between the two of them. So all in all, it's not actually a bad story. It is still predictable. It does have a few misses here and there, but it's not that bad. What about the characters? I have to say, when I found out who the kid was, who Luke's actor was, I actually thought it was Macaulay Culkin, mostly because of his hairstyle, how he looked. But no, it was actually, his name is Jason Fisher, who I actually didn't know was actually in the movie Hook. Very surprising. But he's our main character. He did a good job with his performance. I didn't feel like he half-assed his performance, and even after becoming a mouse, he still gave a very good performance, even through the little mouse. The same with the grandmother, Mai Setterling, who did a great job with her role, and she really gave it her best. And even though she knows what kind of film this is, she still did her best with her performance. And I love the interaction between her character and Luke as well. Tragically, she passed away in 1994, which is a shame, but still, it was fun to see her performance, and I was very happy to see how well it went. Although the two actors that I really enjoyed more in this film was Angelica Hudson, who played the Grand High Witch, and Rowan Atkinson, who played Mr. Stringer. You may remember him as Mr. Bean. He plays the hotel manager in the film. Both gave a very fun performance with their role. I really love how Angelica, she did a great job with her role as the main villain, even with the makeup. Of course, you later find out she was in hell wearing it, because it took 6 hours to put it on, it took 6 hours to take it off, and even under all that heat, lights hitting that makeup they had, it was torture for her. She hated it, so I hope she got paid a lot of good money. And Rowan, I very much enjoyed his performance, especially the facial expressions he gives in the film. It was a lot of fun. The other actors did a good job too. I didn't really have much of a issue with them. They all gave a good performance. A few could have been done better, and I think the only problem I did have was one of the characters who had a thing with Rowan's character, Mr. Stringer. One of the ladies who works there, they apparently had some kind of fling going on, but nothing really goes on after that. Just kind of wish we know a little bit more, but still not that bad. So as far as where the location was at, they had it in Norway for some of the film, but then the rest was mostly at the hotel. It looked very pretty. I like the hotel, how it looks, and where it's located. It looks very nice. The makeup for the witches, all of them look good, because the grandmother explains to the witches they don't have hair. They have to wear wigs, and it causes them to have like little rashes on their head. So they did a good job making it look like they have the rashes on their head. And they don't have normal fingernails. They have sharp nails. So they have to hide those in gloves. They don't have toes. They have square nubs. I think that's how it was described. I love how the witches look. I love how they look very monstrous. But the Grand High Witch, like I said, she was the most dangerous of them all, and she looked the most monstrous. But again, I feel bad for her because again, it took 6 hours to put it on, 6 hours to take it off, and it was hell. So I'm hoping she got paid a lot of good money. But give her credit, she toughed it out. She was able to give a great performance, and she didn't have to wear it all the time. I think it was just that one scene in the movie where she's meeting with all the witches. I think that was the only time. I may have to look back at it, but they did a good job with it. The puppeteers that worked on the mice for our characters, they looked very good. I really liked how they all looked. The only thing I did have a problem with was the fact that they didn't always give facial expressions, but I think that was fine. No CGI here, folks. There was no CGI for this. As far as the music is concerned, I really didn't mind it. I thought the music was okay. So yeah, not really bad with the music, special effects, or even the setting. All good. So in my view, The Witches is still a great film to watch. It's very enjoyable. I really love how well the actors gave it their all in the film. I love the direction they took with this, with The Witches, because I was kind of worried how this whole thing was going to go. But I'm glad that they made the witches look very terrifying, look very scary. As a kid, I was kind of scared of witches, of course, of clowns too. But I liked it. I thought they did a great job with it. The story was done well. Despite the author actually wanted to change the ending of the film, he wanted it to be exactly like from the book, but they were able to change his mind and give it to make the ending a little better. Because again, if you read the ending, it is kind of a little sad, but I think this way was a little more satisfying. Maybe in the remake, he'll get another opportunity to have the ending he hopes for. So it was also interesting to find out the director actually had to take out some scenes that were too scary for kids. I mean, I actually wanted to see those scary scenes. I'm like, what were they? I want to see them. That sounds pretty cool. All in all, it is a very good dark kids film. And if you're interested in watching, I recommend it. If you want to see it with your kids so that way they don't get scared, go right ahead. If you want to read the book, go right ahead too. The book's very good. I very much recommend reading it and also watching this film. But yeah, The Witches, to me, still holds up even 30 years later. It's still a good film. I'm very glad it did well with the audience and fans. I'm sure Jim Henson would be proud of that. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you have a different opinion about this or what you think of the upcoming remake, leave in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Hit the subscribe button, check my Facebook page, check my Twitter page. Check out T3 Media's channel as well. Subscribe to their channel because they do with videos. And I'll see you next time to give you more love and more entertainment. So until then, guys, take care, be safe, love you all, and goodbye.